After age 60, a good kitchen does not need to be full. It needs affordable foods that are easy to eat, actually get used up, and are still useful on the days when you are too tired to cook. Shopping the wrong way does not just cost you a few dollars. It can leave your refrigerator packed with food, but your meals still lacking protein, energy, and fiber. And in the end, you still end up eating snacks or ordering takeout. When food prices rise and retirement budgets cannot keep up, every item in the cart matters more than ever. The issue is not buying less. The issue is buying better. Today, we are going to look at 9 foods older adults should prioritize buying regularly. To eat better, stay full longer, waste less, and not let the body quietly weaken through rushed, careless meals. 9. Eggs. After age 60, the danger is sometimes not that there is no food in the house. The bigger danger is that the refrigerator is still full. The pantry still has bread, cookies, cereal, a few frozen items, but the body is missing the thing it needs most to maintain strength: protein. Many older adults do not think they are eating too little. They still eat breakfast, still drink coffee, still eat a few slices of bread, a few cookies, a bowl of cereal, or something quick just to get through the meal. There is food in the stomach, so they think everything is still fine. But the muscles are not being fed enough. And this is where many people shop the wrong way. They buy things that fill the kitchen, but not things that save the body. At first, this shows up very slightly. Getting up from a chair a little more slowly. Carrying grocery bags from the car into the house feels heavier than before. Climbing a few stairs already makes you want to stop. Things that used to feel completely normal begin to require more effort. And many people think it is just old age. But sometimes, part of the problem is meals that are too light, too low in protein, and too dependent on convenient foods. Studies show that adults may lose about 1 to 2% of muscle mass each year as they get older, and this process can become faster after age 60. One large egg has about 6 grams of high-quality protein. That number sounds small, but for something soft, cheap, easy to eat, and easy to cook, that is very practical value. That is why eggs deserve a place on this list. Eggs do not force you to prepare a large meal. No need to thaw meat. No need to stand at the stove for long. No need to wash too many pots and pans. One egg can turn leftover rice into fried rice. Turn a slice of bread into a protein breakfast. Turn a simple bowl of noodles or porridge into something solid enough so the body is not just eating to get by. An older woman once said that she always bought cookies to keep on hand in case guests came over. But before any guests arrived, the cookies were already gone. Not because she did not know cookies were not the best choice, but because when you live alone, feel tired and hungry, the easiest thing to grab usually wins. Later, she started boiling a few eggs ahead of time, writing the date on a small container, and placing it right in the easy-to-see section of the refrigerator. Every time she felt hungry, she had a better choice that was still easy enough. That is the truly important trick. Do not just buy eggs and leave them there. Turn eggs into something ready to eat. Boil a few for 2 or 3 days. Peel some ahead of time if you often avoid peeling them when you are hungry. Keep them in a sealed container in an easy-to-see spot, not hidden deep behind foods you rarely use. If you often forget, stick a small note on it with the boiling date. When you open the refrigerator, eggs should be what you see before you see sweets. If you are tired in the morning, eat one with whole grain bread. If you do not want to cook at lunch, mash eggs into egg salad. If you have leftover rice at night, fry it with eggs and frozen vegetables. If you have potatoes, you can add eggs on top. If you have porridge, just stirring in one egg can make the meal softer, warmer, and more nourishing. The strength of eggs is that they do not try to be fancy. They just quietly sit there, cheap, familiar, easy to eat, and available at the exact moment when you no longer have much energy to cook. Of course, if your doctor has given you specific advice about cholesterol, heart health, or diabetes, follow your personal guidance. No food is right for everyone, but for many older adults, eggs are one of the most worthwhile things to buy every week. Because after age 60, a meal without enough protein does not make you weak immediately. It just takes away your strength little by little, until ordinary tasks start becoming a burden. How do you usually use eggs most often? Boiled ahead of time, simply fried, scrambled, or mixed with rice and vegetables? 8. Frozen vegetables. Many people think they waste money at the meat counter, but in reality, a lot of money is lost in the bottom drawer of the refrigerator, where fresh vegetables start to wilt, soften, change color, and eventually get thrown away in silence. That is the kind of waste people notice the least. A bunch of greens bought while still very fresh. A bag of salad bought with the intention of eating better this week. Some broccoli, carrots, or spinach that looked beautiful when first brought home. But then life happens. Some days you are too tired to cook. Some days you do not want to wash vegetables. Some days you open the refrigerator and close it again, thinking, tomorrow is fine. And just a few days later, something bought with a very good intention turns into trash. A bag of fresh vegetables thrown away is not just spoiled vegetables. It is money, good intentions, and a healthy meal that never happened. Especially for older adults living alone or cooking for only 2 people, fresh vegetables are sometimes not a nutrition problem. They are a problem of energy, time, and real kitchen habits. And this is where many people shop the wrong way. They buy things that make the cart look healthy, but not things that actually help them eat vegetables regularly. That is why frozen vegetables are worth more than many people think. Not because they are fancier, not because they are perfect on paper, but because they are practical. You do not need to use them all right away. You do not need to feel pressured to cook the whole bunch of vegetables before it goes bad. You just take a small handful and put the rest back in the freezer. No wilting, no softening, no getting waterlogged, no making you feel guilty every time you open the refrigerator. And this is something many people do not notice. Frozen vegetables are often quickly frozen after harvest, so many types still keep very good nutritional value. In reality, fresh vegetables that sit for many days in the refrigerator can also gradually lose freshness and quality. So the issue is not whether fresh or frozen sounds better. The issue is which one you actually eat before it gets thrown away. It comes down to this: you actually use it. An older man once said that he had stopped buying fresh salad because he was tired of the feeling of having to throw away a soggy bag of greens at the end of the week. Then he switched to frozen vegetables. Every morning, he just added a little to scrambled eggs. At night, he tossed a handful into soup or fried rice. There was no longer the feeling that he had failed at eating better. The vegetables had simply finally become something he actually used up. That is a very big difference. Using frozen vegetables is very simple. In the morning, you can add a little to scrambled eggs. At lunch, mix them with rice and tuna. At night, add them straight into tomato soup, beans, or potatoes. If you cook noodles, adding a handful of frozen vegetables also makes the meal feel less empty. If you have leftover rice, a little frozen mixed vegetables with eggs can turn it into a quick, hot meal that wastes far less. The buying tip is to choose the simplest frozen vegetables. Mixed vegetables, broccoli, peas, carrots, spinach, or cauliflower are all easy to use. Avoid types with too much cheese sauce, butter, or added seasoning, because they are often more expensive but not necessarily better. If you buy a large bag on sale, divide it into a few smaller bags or use a clip to seal it tightly after opening, to prevent freezer burn, odor loss, and clumping. One very practical little tip: do not hide frozen vegetables at the bottom of the freezer. Keep them somewhere easy to see. Because when people are tired, they often choose the first thing they see. Frozen vegetables do not make the kitchen look more elegant. They simply do one very important thing: help you eat vegetables more consistently without throwing money into the trash. And for many older adults, that is already a big win. Which vegetable have you wasted the most in your refrigerator? 7. Oats. Oats do not sound very exciting. They are not as crunchy as sweets, not as fragrant as bacon. They do not give you the feeling of rewarding yourself like a sugary coffee or a hot muffin from a shop. But sometimes, the most important food in life is the one that keeps the morning from getting out of control. Many older adults start the day with coffee, a few cookies, sweet bread, or a bowl of sugary cereal because it is fast and convenient. The problem is that about 2 hours later, hunger comes back. The hand opens the cabinet again, looking for snacks, or you have to buy something else just to hold yourself over. And money does not disappear in one big moment. It leaks away through mornings like that, repeated week after week. That is why oats are worth much more than they look. Not because they are trendy, not because the internet calls them a superfood, but because they help the body stay more stable in the first hours of the day, the time when many older adults start losing energy the fastest. Studies show that the beta-glucan fiber in oats may help create a longer-lasting feeling of fullness and support cholesterol control. A typical serving of dry oats also has about 4 grams of fiber and about 5 grams of protein. The numbers are not overwhelming, but for something cheap, soft, easy to cook, and easy to eat, that is a very good foundation for breakfast. An older neighbor of mine once said that she always thought she did not eat much. But then she realized, every morning, only drinking coffee and eating sweets made her start looking for snacks around 10 o'clock. A few cookies, some chips, a granola bar. None of them was too big, but together, they added up to a lot of calories and money every week. Then she switched to hot oats with banana and a little peanut butter. Not because it tasted better than sweets, but because by lunch, she still did not feel hungry again. That is a very big difference. A good breakfast does not need to impress anyone. It just needs to help you not get hungry too quickly. And this is where many people buy the wrong things. They buy foods that look like breakfast, but not the things that actually keep them full. Oats are very flexible. If you like them hot, you can cook them with milk or water. Then add banana, cinnamon, a few berries, or a little peanut butter. If you are too lazy to cook in the morning, you can make overnight oats the night before. If you want them softer and easier to eat, just cook them a few minutes longer. Even just oats plus milk plus banana is already much more stable than a breakfast full of sugar. One very practical tip: do not rush to buy flavored instant oatmeal packets. They are convenient, but they are often more expensive per serving and can contain quite a lot of added sugar. Buying plain oats and adding simple ingredients yourself will be cheaper, more filling, and much more flexible. For storage, oats are one of the easiest foods to keep if you can avoid moisture. After opening the bag, you should transfer them to an airtight jar or container instead of leaving them in an open paper bag or plastic bag. Keep them in a dry, cool place, away from a hot stove or direct sunlight. Dry oats can usually stay stable for about 1 to 2 years if stored well. But if they get damp, smell strange, or small insects appear, this money-saving food can quickly turn into something you have to throw away. If you buy a large bag to save money, divide it into a few smaller containers. That way, each time you open one, only one portion is affected. while the rest stays dry and clean longer. Another tip many older adults like is to portion oats into small jars for a few days ahead. Each morning, you only need to add hot water or milk, and you have a meal much faster than having to think about what to eat. The strength of oats is that they do not feel too heavy like many greasy breakfasts. But they also do not make you hungry again too quickly like pastries or sugary cereal. They do not try to make breakfast exciting. They just quietly keep the morning more stable. And after age 60, stability is sometimes far more important than excitement. Do you prefer oats hot, overnight oats, savory oats? Or are you someone who simply cannot eat oats at all? 6. Beans. If eggs are the quick food, frozen vegetables are the anti-waste food, and oats are the food that keeps the morning stable, then beans are the food that makes one pot of food go further. Beans do not save you in 5 minutes. Beans save you at the second meal, the third meal, and the weekend when there are only a few leftovers left in the refrigerator. As meat, fish, eggs, and milk all become more expensive, many people begin cutting back on protein. But the problem is that when meals become mostly starch with just a little food on the side, you may feel full at the moment, but very quickly feel hungry again afterward. Beans step directly into this gap. They do not completely replace meat. They help you use less meat while still making the meal feel filling. A pot of chili made with only ground beef disappears very quickly. But add kidney beans, black beans, or pinto beans, and that pot can stretch through several more meals. A potato soup made with only potatoes feels a little thin. Add some lightly mashed white beans, and the soup becomes thicker and more filling without needing much cream. Some leftover rice, black beans, canned tomatoes, and a little seasoning can give you a hot bowl of food instead of just leftover rice. That is the special strength of beans. They give food substance. Not just liquid, not just starch, not just a few scattered pieces of meat. They make a meal feel heavier and more complete. One very real situation. A retired person buys a pack of ground beef with the intention of making 2 meals. But if they only make meat sauce or burgers, that package disappears very quickly. Once they started cutting the meat portion in half and adding beans, canned tomatoes, and a little seasoning, the same amount of money suddenly created more servings. The meal no longer felt reduced. It was simply stretched more intelligently. Beans also solve another problem after age 60: lack of fiber. Many people eat fewer vegetables than they think, fewer fruits than they think, and depend heavily on bread, white rice, fast food, or convenience meals. When fiber is lacking, the digestive system becomes slower. Beans are not a miracle cure, but they are a very simple way to bring fiber back into everyday meals. Beans are also very flexible to use. Canned beans can be rinsed and added to salads, soups, rice, chili, or stews. Chickpeas can be mixed with tuna, frozen vegetables, and olive oil. White beans can be lightly mashed to make soup thicker. Black beans go very well with rice, eggs, tomatoes, and seasoning. Dry beans are cheaper, but they need soaking and cooking first. If you have the time, cooking a large batch and freezing smaller portions is a very smart approach. One important tip: if you use canned beans, rinse them under water to reduce some of the sodium. If you use dry beans, store them in sealed jars in a dry, cool place away from moisture and insects. Dry beans usually keep well for about 1 to 2 years, but the longer they sit, the longer they take to soften when cooked. So do not buy too much if you do not actually use them regularly. Beans are not a food for showing off. They are a food for stretching things further. Stretching the soup pot, stretching the pack of meat, stretching the budget, and sometimes stretching the feeling of security at the end of the month. High prices do not just test your wallet. They test your ability to turn a small amount of food into many decent meals. Which type of beans do you use most often? Black beans, white beans, chickpeas, kidney beans, or pinto beans? 5. Canned tomatoes. Many older adults do not order takeout because they have no food in the house. They order because they look at the food they already have and feel bored. Some leftover rice, some beans, some frozen vegetables, a can of tuna, a leftover piece of chicken. Each item on its own is technically edible, but none of them feels appealing. And this is something many people after age 60 experience. It is not always that they are less hungry, but that they are more tired of figuring out what to cook every day. That is when canned tomatoes become extremely valuable. They are not the main food, but they turn other foods into a real meal. They add moisture, color, mild acidity, richness, and that hot, comforting feeling that leftovers and dry foods often lack. For older adults, this matters far more than many people realize. Because when meals become too dry, too bland, or too repetitive, many people start skipping meals, eating snacks just to get by, or opening their phone to order takeout even though there is still food in the kitchen. That is the special strength of canned tomatoes. It does not make meals more elegant. It makes meals feel less lonely and less boring. You can use canned tomatoes to make soft pasta sauce that is easy to eat. Add them to beans for a warm, filling stew. Cook them with rice and frozen vegetables into a thick soup. Mix them with tuna for a quick dinner. Add them to shredded chicken and potatoes to create something softer, warmer, and easier to eat for people with weak teeth, or those who no longer enjoy food that is too dry. And this is very important for older adults. Canned tomatoes help pull many cheap foods together into something easier to eat. A little rice, a few spoonfuls of beans, and some vegetables can feel very dull on their own. But once you add tomatoes, everything starts to feel like a real meal. The buying tip is to choose the right type. Diced tomatoes work well for soups and stews. Crushed tomatoes are good for pasta sauce or quick cooking. Whole canned tomatoes are very flexible if you want to control the thickness yourself. Low sodium or no salt added types are better for many older adults who need to watch their blood pressure. For storage, unopened cans should be kept in a dry, cool place away from sunlight and away from a hot stove. For acidic foods like tomatoes, the quality is usually best for about 12 to 18 months if the can remains undamaged. Avoid using cans that are swollen, heavily rusted, or deeply dented around the edges. After opening the can, do not leave the leftovers inside the metal can in the refrigerator. Transfer them into a sealed container or glass jar instead. If you live alone, you can portion and freeze smaller amounts so next time you only take exactly what you need. That helps prevent waste, something many older adults dislike even more than cooking itself. What do you most often use canned tomatoes to cook? 4. Potatoes. Potatoes are so ordinary that many people underestimate them. They are not a superfood, not expensive. They do not come in beautiful packaging. But after age 60, being ordinary is sometimes the greatest strength. Many older adults do not need a fancy meal. They need something soft, warm, easy to eat, and enough to make the body feel like it has just had a decent meal. That is what potatoes do very well. One medium potato has only about 110 calories, but it can provide more than 600 milligrams of potassium if eaten with the skin. It also has vitamin C, vitamin B6, and carbohydrates that help give the body energy. But the real strength of potatoes is not in the nutrition label. It is in the warm, full feeling that very few cheap foods can provide, not the fake fullness of cookies, salty snacks, or sweets. A hot potato with a little egg, beans, tuna, or shredded chicken can become a soft, easy to chew, and filling meal. One comment once said that after retirement, he did not skip meals because there was no food in the house. He skipped meals because every food looked tiring. Meat had to be thawed. Vegetables had to be washed. Cold food was not appealing. But a hot baked potato with a little butter and pepper was something he always finished. After age 60, a meal does not need to look beautiful. It just needs to be soft enough to finish, warm enough to want to eat, and filling enough that you do not have to open the cabinet looking for cookies afterward. Potatoes can be boiled, mashed with a little milk and butter, baked whole, cut into pieces for soup, or pan-fried from leftovers for breakfast the next morning. If your teeth are weak, mashed potatoes or potato soup feel much more comfortable to eat. If you want more protein in the meal, add eggs, beans, tuna, shredded chicken, or frozen vegetables on top. An important tip is not to buy bags that are too large if you live alone or eat small amounts. Potatoes are cheap, but if they sprout, become soft, or spoil, that is still money thrown away. When choosing potatoes, pick ones that are firm, dry, not soft, without too many sprouts, and without large green patches. For storage, do not wash potatoes before storing them because moisture makes them spoil faster. Keep them in a dark, dry, cool place in a paper bag or a ventilated basket. Avoid sealed plastic bags because they trap moisture. If one potato starts going bad, remove it immediately so it does not affect the whole bag. And do not store potatoes next to onions because they can make each other spoil faster. Potatoes are not a food for showing off. They are a food you return to when you need a soft, hot, and truly filling meal. For older adults, there are days when simply finishing one hot potato with a little protein is already a small victory. What is your favorite way to eat potatoes? Boiled, mashed, baked, in soup, or pan-fried? 3. Chicken thighs. Many older adults need protein, but they do not want to eat something dry, tough, and hard to swallow. This is why chicken thighs deserve to be ranked very high. Chicken breast is often seen as healthier, but if it is overcooked, it dries out very quickly. For younger people, that may only make it a little hard to eat. But for older adults, a dry piece of meat can make the entire meal feel tiring. Chewing takes longer. Swallowing becomes harder. They eat a few bites and then leave the rest. And when protein is left behind on the plate, the meal may look complete, but the body does not receive what it needs. Chicken thighs are different, softer, more flavorful, often cheaper than chicken breast, and easier to turn into multiple meals. A properly cooked chicken thigh can make a meal feel like a real dinner, not just something temporary. One cooked chicken thigh can provide about 20 to 25 grams of protein, depending on the size. This is a very valuable number for older adults because protein is not just about feeling full. It is connected to muscle, the strength to stand, the strength to walk, recovery, and the feeling of having energy during the day. Susan said that she had almost stopped eating chicken because chicken breast was always dry and hard to swallow. Then her daughter switched to buying bone-in chicken thighs, slowly roasting them with a little garlic, pepper, and olive oil. She ate more, and the leftover meat the next day was shredded into soup. For the first time in weeks, she said one very simple sentence: "This is easy to eat." For older adults, easy to eat is sometimes more important than sounds healthy. You can roast a tray of chicken thighs with garlic, pepper, a little olive oil, and familiar seasonings. The first meal can be eaten with rice and frozen vegetables. The next meal, shred the meat into tomato soup. The day after that, make a soft chicken sandwich. If there are bones, do not throw them away too quickly. You can keep them to make broth for porridge, soup, or soft rice. One cooking session, many meals, that is real saving. The buying tip is to watch for family packs when they go on sale. But do not freeze the whole large tray if you only cook for 1 or 2 people. Divide them into smaller portions, place them into separate bags, write the date on the bags, and use the older portions first. If you buy chicken thighs with skin and bones, the price is usually lower, the flavor is better, and you also get bones for making broth. Raw chicken thighs should be kept in the refrigerator and used within about 1 to 2 days if uncooked. If you are not using them right away, freeze them in smaller portions. Cooked chicken thighs can stay in the refrigerator for about 3 to 4 days in a sealed container. When reheating, add a little broth or sauce so the meat does not dry out. Do you prefer chicken thighs roasted, stewed, pan-fried, or in soup? 2. Peanut butter. There are days when older adults do not need a perfect dinner. They just need something good enough to avoid eating cookies instead of a meal, avoid ordering takeout, and avoid going to bed with an uncomfortable stomach. That is when peanut butter becomes very practical. It does not need a stove, no sharp knife, no recipe, no pan to wash. Just open the jar, spread it on bread, eat it with bananas, mix it into oats, blend it with milk, or use a small amount when you truly do not have the energy to cook. For older adults, this matters much more than many people think. Because there are days when appetite becomes weaker, but the body still needs energy. There are days when a large plate of food feels like too much, but one slice of bread with peanut butter feels just enough to keep the body from being underfed. Peanut butter contains fat, plant protein, and dense energy. Just 2 tablespoons of peanut butter usually contain around 180 to 200 calories and about 7 to 8 grams of protein. That number is very important because for people who eat small amounts, get full quickly, or are trying to avoid junk food, even a small serving can make a meal more valuable. You can add peanut butter to oats to make breakfast more filling. Eat it with bananas so a snack keeps energy longer. Spread it on whole grain bread for a quick meal. Blend it with milk and bananas into a soft, easy-to-drink smoothie. If you like apples, a little peanut butter can also make the snack feel more satisfying. Choose the simple kinds. Types made with only peanuts and a little salt are usually better than those with lots of sugar, hydrogenated oils, or overly sweet flavoring. If you need to manage blood sugar, blood pressure, or sodium, the label becomes even more important. For storage, always use a clean spoon. Keep the lid tightly closed and store it in a dry, cool place. If it is natural peanut butter with separated oil on top, stir it well and store it according to the label instructions. Many types keep better in the refrigerator after opening. Do you prefer smooth peanut butter or chunky? 1. Bananas. Bananas are number 1 not because they are the most nutritious food. Saying that would immediately start an argument. Bananas are number 1 because they are one of the most practical foods after age 60. No cooking, no washing knives, no opening cans, no recipe, no cleanup. Just peel and eat. There are mornings when you do not want to eat much, but need a little something before taking medication. There are afternoons when you feel tired and slightly hungry, but do not want coffee or sweets. There are moments when you know you should eat something, but even thinking about cooking already feels exhausting. Bananas show up exactly in those moments. There are many ways to use them. Eat them directly, slice them into oats, eat them with peanut butter, blend them with milk into a smoothie. Eat them after a meal instead of an expensive dessert. When bananas get too ripe, do not throw them away. Slice them and freeze them for smoothies, mix them into oats, or use them to make simple banana bread. The buying tip is to choose bananas at different stages of ripeness. A few yellow ones to eat right away, a few slightly green ones to eat later. That way, the whole bunch does not ripen at the same time and force you to throw them away. The defining strength of bananas is that they do not try to be the main food. They simply make many small meals easier. And after age 60, easier is a very big value. The best food is not always the one that looks perfect on paper. Sometimes it is the thing you still have enough energy to eat consistently. In your home, do bananas usually run out first, or do they get too ripe before you remember them? After age 60, eating is no longer about trying to eat perfectly. It is about still having enough energy to cook, still wanting to eat, and still keeping decent meals every day. Many older adults are not truly short on food. They are short on foods simple enough to use regularly, soft enough to eat easily, and filling enough that they do not have to open the cabinet looking for snacks afterward. That is why the foods on this list are not flashy, but they are practical. Eggs keep protein in the meal. Frozen vegetables reduce waste. Oats help make the morning more stable. Beans stretch meals further. Potatoes create a warm, filling feeling. Chicken thighs are soft and easy to eat. Peanut butter saves the evenings when you are too tired to cook. Sometimes, a smart kitchen does not need to be overly full. It just needs to have the right things.